Hello Malaysians, it's the 23rd of April and it's 11:30 in the night, and I'm speaking from my home in Perth. I was enjoying myself watching a ceramah held by Dato Sri Anwar on the, there was some connection between him and Mahathir, where he mastered some 240,000 hits on his video. And I also watched his daughter Nurul. This is the first time I watched her speak, and I was impressed because she is every bit her father's daughter. See, more important than these little tidbits that I put in as introduction, it's kind of a warm-up, more important than everything else is the fact that Nurul Izzat spoke very sincerely and very openly, and endorsing her father's thinking that Malaysians should be all equal. We should all be Malaysians under the Constitution, and that affirmative action is a necessary component for the advancement of Malaysia and the Malays. That I agree. I accept that as fact, that affirmative action needs to be taken in order to advance society as a whole, not just the Malays. And I also agree to the opinion of Dato Sri Anwar that since the Malays form the bigger component of society that is left behind, since they make up a bigger component of society that require affirmative action to advance to a better level of living, I agree. I endorse that opinion. I think it's a very valid opinion and a very moral one. Both he and his daughter take this opinion, and this is the point that I want to get at. The point I want to get at here is that both of them, and for that matter, that will be the thinking of Pakatan Rakyat, is that affirmative action is across the board. In other words, Malays, Chinese, Indians and all that, we all have people who require assistance to advance in life, and by advancing each and every individual who deserve advancement, we lift the level of our society to a higher plane. We advance that way, step by step, until we become a developed nation. That, to that extent, this is the first time in 60 years of independence that we have a group of Malays who believe in the wisdom that affirmative action is required across the board regardless of race. It is based on necessity. You see, why is it that affirmative is wrong to be confined to just the Malays? It is a common sense. It is a practical evaluation, in that we have very brainy people across the board among the Malays, the Indians, the Chinese. We have very brainy people, very talented people. But these people may have been born on the wrong side of the track, so to speak. Parents have no influence, parents are poor, and but their brains are there. You see, their brain, if it is given the opportunity to develop and to be given a chance to be educated, we have then an asset that is the most important to advance our development. You see, we talk of aggregate, not just one person become a great scientist, but across the board we have a whole bunch of people who qualify to become scientists, to become engineers, to become doctors, to become scientists. You see, it is that is more aggregate is very important, and you cannot find aggregate when the group you select to realize your dream to develop the country comes from only a small section. And with due respect to the Malays, I must say, and I don't mean this as an insult to the Malays, but I'm saying this merely from my observation, is that, you see, the Chinese, and for that matter, I believe the Indians too, they come from families who devote very much of the time that they have to coach their children, to spend quality time to coach their children to become more educated and more knowledgeable. To that extent, that is one reason why I suppose the Chinese have advanced to a higher level, because the aggregate of our parents, I'm not just saying this to insult the other races, but it's a fact of life that our parents devote a lot of time to educating us, to giving us what is necessary to advance ourselves even above the level of our parents. And I don't find this very common among the other people, not even among the white folks in Australia. They give their children whatever is required to advance themselves, but they do not devote quality time to their children, in that they do not personally coach their children to become knowledgeable and to educate themselves on a wider spectrum. To that extent, I think it is important for the Malays to understand that it is your duty as parents to coach your children, to give your personal attention to them, so that they can know love, and they can know belonging, and they can know that life is to be lived in the future, not just now. Just now in their early teens, when they are at school and all, well, it shapes their character and all that sort of thing, but their knowledge is to be applied later on in life when they come out to work for themselves. To that extent, as I said, this is the first time in all of Malaysian history that Dato Sri Anwar and his daughter has openly and with iron conviction articulate this openly without fear of offending other Malays, because they expect the Malays to understand that this is for the best for the community, and therefore they have the conviction and the wisdom to speak out their mind. Well, I'm saying this because as I go along, I'm creating more and more clips, because the election is only just days away, and it's just whenever I get an idea, I like to put forward and make a clip, whatever it is, and post it for whatever it is worth. So I say to my Malaysian Chinese brothers and sisters, and to all Malays too, that here you have in Anwar a real, true leader. Don't judge him for what people say he is. Don't judge him for the time when he was set up, when he was framed by Mahathir and then by Ahmad Badawi. Both of them frame him for all this sodomy bullshit. I don't believe he's a sodomist at all, because he's got so many children. So well, I make this point that first time in history we have a true Malay leader who has the capacity, who has the charisma, who has the wisdom and the learning to lead all of Malaysians, Malays, Chinese, Indians, all of Malaysians to a higher level of development. Well, good night.